Yay.
Are we good? Yay. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Can y'all hear us first and foremost?
Please put it in the comments if you can hear us.
Yes. Because last time that was a problem.
There was a problem, and we went on for 3 minutes without any microphone.
Yeah.
How are we doing? Well, we got to keep talking, though, so otherwise the people won't be able to hear us. How are you, Emil? Good morning.
I'm good. Let's see. Today, behind the camera is going to be Kay, who's answering the comments.
Hi, Kay.
So thank you, Kay. Kay, does everyone say that they can hear us? Okay. Awesome.
We're good. Okay. Yay. Welcome, everybody, to Analogue Dialogue, where we talk about everything and all things analog.
Yes.
I'm Wakako.
I'm Emil.
And I hope you join us with your favorite drink. I have my trusted bottle of water. Grab a drink and join us for about an hour of conversation about things we love.
Yeah. So today we decided we kind of wanted to talk about specifically like our analog artifacts. And we were kind of talking about like how the different leather and materials age, but then we also decided we wanted to mention about like our emotional connections to them, because as we were talking about like how they age, it really reflects like our story with each of the items. So we felt like that was part of the story in each of the items aging. So we each have some of our items here outside the camera. Did you want to start first?
Yeah, sure. This topic is really close to my heart.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably the topic that I can talk the most. So I'm so glad to be here. Because other topics I might not be able to chime in as much, but this one it's super close to my heart, and I feel like it's one of the reasons why we started BK, which is to create a connection with artifacts that we love, and in that I truly believe in that fact that it actually happens. Mm-hmm. The connections, the relationships and dynamics. So I have a couple artifacts that I brought. I have shared it before on my stories and pictures and videos, but this is first time kind of really telling the story impromptu. So I thought this would be fun. I have my traveler's notebook, and other item I have is my TSL bag.
Awesome. And then just so y'all know, we will be doing, I think, 2 questions parts. Mm-hmm. So y'all can post your questions in the comments section. We won't be able to get to all of them, but we will have like a couple of them selected during those times when we are doing the Q&A. So feel free to leave those questions, and hopefully we'll be able to get to them. Start with your TN.
What's the stories? I know this is the beginning of everything.
Of everything.
So my traveler's notebook, maybe I can try to show. So I think this was with me before we started BK. Mm-hmm. I got this in 2008, in December 26th. Mm-hmm. That is just as much as, it's like things we love, we remember all the details, right? Like, mm-hmm. And then just all the stories, you own it and you share it with the artifacts that we have. And I feel like this is one of the artifacts that I have had, and I don't think I knew when I actually bought it mm-hmm. back in 2008 that this was going to have such an impact in my life. Right. But I just I couldn't articulate it, but I think I knew, because mm-hmm. there was definitely from the moment I met on the shelf in Itoya in Tokyo, it was just like total fall in love moment, mm-hmm. And it wasn't like, it was displayed in the biggest section of Itoya or anything. It was a small little area, but I just so gravitated to it, and I spent hours there in front of this little section where Traveler's Notebook was featured. I was that person that I wouldn't move from the aisle, and I just tried to study it. I'd never seen anything like it before. Mm-hmm. I just stood there, and I might just sat on the floor, knowing myself.
So when you went to, you said Itoya?
Itoya in Tokyo, yeah.
Had you heard of TN before?
No, I've never heard of TN. Okay. I don't even think I knew that I was that into paper products.
Okay.
That's
so
how
that is
far back it is. No, I have never heard of it. It was something I was not aware of, because I was already living in the US, and This was never yet introduced in a big way in the US yet.
Right.
So it was just totally random, totally serendipitous. I just stumbled upon it, and in the moment I just knew that I had to get it and I had to just find out everything about it. And I quickly realized that, oh, okay, so this is refillable, right? Like you keep your leather cover, which is the concept I really was intrigued by, and you can swap the notebooks inside.
Right.
And then there was a moment I'm like, oh my god, what am I going to do when I run out of my pages?
Right.
So there was a moment, and it was the last day that we were in Japan, and you can imagine I had a suitcase full of refills and binders and everything I could find about traveler's notebook from that section. I just bought it and I brought them home because I just didn't want to run out of the refills.
So then you started a store so you would never run out of the refills.
Kind of. That's how I got started. But no, this was before even BK's concept was even in my mind. It was just something that I felt connected to. I got the brown, and I convinced Frito that he should get the black. So we had a matching pair for a while. And I just, I was commuting to Seattle at the time, so I would travel up and down, LA, Seattle weekly, and I would just bring it with me. And, at the beginning, I didn't know what to do with this. I was just, I don't know, I think I was doing daily journals or daily collage, and then it just morphed into so many different functions in terms of inside refills. At some point, it was a wallet. I took that out, and then now it's a master planner / journals. But it just, the cover had stayed with me. And, for a while, it was here in the studio, and I shared it with everybody, during opening hours as a display. It was for a while like that. And then now it just sort of became, once again, with me every day.
Yeah, it goes in and out of the studio. Like, it is sometimes on the display. I remember when I came to the store the first time, it was on display. How old is this TN by now?
So this is, I know every year I'm so excited to add another year. So this is officially 14 years.
That's crazy.
That is, 2008, 2022. So we were already married, but I didn't have kids back then. I was working, full time, and it came with me along the journey of BK, parenthood, travels, and all these exciting life things.
That's a lot. It's really cool that you've been able to keep using it during all those times. Let's bring it over to the side camera so that we can kind of see a little closer.
Let's see. We have a different view. Yes, I can show you a little bit of details about how I patina. And TN to me is so interesting because every leather, even though it obviously comes from the same company, and we have experienced it here in the store when a customer opens it. Each one of the TN feels a little bit different depending on the time it was created, I guess, because it is, it's not manufactured in the same way. It's dyed and it's treated. It's produced by hand in a small,
Yeah, it's definitely made in batches. I've seen so many different ones.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so I'm gonna look at the different things because I'm sure you're used to the cover by now.
I'm I love it.
Yeah, but some of these dark spots here, and then how, I don't know, I feel with a lot of older TNs, y'all can't see, but this is very soft, how soft this leather is. But it's got a lot of depth to it in different areas too. And of course, you've got a lot of the customizations happening, but even so, you can really see different layers of patina. I feel dark brown's a really good one to be able to see that. I feel maybe other than the camel, you can really see
camel and dark brown. I feel you see the evolution so much, and at some point it was really dry. This was maybe 6 years ago, so my TN continued to feel pretty dry, and I think it's the weather because we're in LA. It's very dry, very little humidity. So it was feeling a little bit more like Indiana Jones, dry kind of leather notebook. And I oiled it a little bit, and it became a little bit richer, a little bit softer. It took me a little while to get used to it after I oiled it, but now it's feeling a lot more like second skin, you know? And then I think I made, when we started the Truly Yours service, I was try mine to add things and experiment this. So it has gone through different. Like at some point, it had rivet. I don't know if you can see the rivet holes. It had, it had a pocket inside. It had gone through a lot of different phase, but now I just took out the pocket and rivet, and I just kind of have it as bare. And I like seeing some of the things that I had before that I chose to take out.
Right.
That it's part of the story. I never want it to go away, like things that I've sort of had journeyed with, stories. I don't want it to be lost, and it's still there.
Right.
And even to look at this. Anybody had this experience?
I have.
You have? It's a plastic, what is it? Adhesive pocket?
Yeah.
It's TN 006.
I think so, yeah.
That was the first thing I put it on, and at some point, I think the plastics just sort of peeled. But then the adhesive stayed, and I'm like, what am I gonna do? So I don't know. I just kind of like it. It's like a shadow of my past.
Yeah, I like it.
I like it too. So I don't mind how imperfect it is, because that's me, anyways.
Yeah.
All the scars, and then the most recent addition was the Frito added a little patch for me last Thursday with Sawalo patch, and it kind of helped to encapsulate a little embossing that I've done a while ago. So it's now that it's going into my 15th year with my TN, I'm a little bit more intentional. I feel like it's a little bit, I take my time to decide what I want to do with. If I want to customize it, I'm taking my time, because it's probably going to be with me for more, much longer than I initially expected 14 years ago. Who knew, right?
Well, thank you for giving us a closer look into this. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm so excited. And I think one of the other thing I did really realize recently is that this is leather, and then the leather comes from animal.
Right.
And that itself, it's something I never really clicked until recently, that leather is an animal that has its own life and story, and that we're just partnering with. Than I am going to, possibly.
That's true.
Which is possibly, right? Yeah. Which is an incredible feeling, that I wanted to create a way to honor its life on its own, that it doesn't have to come with me all the, it will just, I want it to continue its own journey.
Right. So do you use this daily today, and how do you use it if you do?
Yeah, so this is my to go. I always grab it. I won't go anywhere without it. I use it as my master planner. So I have my GU Monthly, designed by Frito, which I keep. It's literally look how messy it is. I have a lot of things that I plan and gets canceled. That's okay, the camera this way. So I have my master planner for the family, doctor's appointment, plans, the travel. It's all in here. And then I have my weekly, so I have it loose. I don't have it binded in my cover because I like to take it out to write it.
Okay.
And this one is pretty just random thoughts, ideas. Sometimes I don't even use it as a weekly. Sometimes I just use it as a page, as my, if I wanted to create a draft for my love letter, I'll just write it down here. Okay. So I'm not strictly this has to be weekly. I'll just use it as I see fit.
Yeah. And the G is well suited to that because the background is already so light. I feel like it's not, I don't know. I feel like with a lot of other planner styles, it would really bother me to go across the lines that are already laid out for you. But I feel like this doesn't have that as much. And I think it was the intention that way with the design too of GU. Anyways, did I tell enough about how much I love my TN? Only you can answer that. But yeah, do you have what else did you want to share today?
Good. Yeah. I just hope that that every TN that we send out to new home, I don't know, have its own destiny, and I can't wait to hear everybody's stories about TN and kind of that's something I look forward to every time we do share a new TN with our customer.
Yeah, and whenever people who come in and you know, we usually will like, you know, ask like, hey, can we look at your TN? We're not going to read anything, but like it was something I really missed about when we were open, was being able to see how other people were actually using it rather than just like sending out items into the world and then not seeing what happened after that.
Yeah, so many stories.
Yeah,
you know, so many stories.
Yeah. But your next item also has a long history.
So much stories, I know. Ta-ta!
It's so intense.
This also, I just celebrated 10 years with this bag. I
just
realized.
10.
Yes, it has been 10. I don't know how time goes by. I love it. I just live every day, and then somehow time just goes. I'm still here, thank goodness.
This is the most intense engineer bag I have ever seen.
It is the very first engineer shoulder bag that started a relationship with TSL.
Okay.
Before we knew TSL, actually. It's always like this, you know, with the products that we share.
Right.
We sort of stumble upon things on personal trip or just going about, and we fall in love, and they're part of the family.
So where did you find
this was Harajuku in Tokyo.
Okay.
I was there by myself with my friend to attend my friend's wedding, and so I had no kids. But 10 years ago, so I already had a kid. Like I think Sachi was with Frito here. Yeah, so I was just traveling Tokyo by myself, and I just walked into this random store. It was full of like it just was a lot of things in the store, like street items, you know, like amazing, really cool clothing and bags and stuff. But this bag just once again called me. Things call me. They're like, Wakako, come closer.
And then this one, which size is this?
So this one is, we call it regular size, but if you do go on the TSL website, this is the small size. They consider this as a small size, and they have one larger size. But at BK, this is kind of a regular size.
Okay.
And this is the product that we do custom order, where we take natural canvas with the painted bottom that you can choose. But it was one of those like, it was out of the sea of everything. I'm like, this is it. I have to get it. And I think that night I emailed Kawai-san saying, hey, I just love your bag. I didn't know Kawai-san back then, obviously, from TSL. Kawai-san is the owner of TSL. But that was in 2012. Mm-hmm. And what I really do love about the bag, with TSL original bag, is that, you know, you have this brass plate that has the date being kind of punched in. So it says 12SS. That means this was a 2012 spring collection. Okay. Spring summer collection. So not every item they have this brass plates on, but some of their classic items, like that.
Especially like the larger items.
Yeah, larger items. And what a way to like just hold on to that. You know, like there's an evidence that it's been with me for 10 years.
Yeah. And then y'all probably know if you have some of our items that are collaborations with TSL, especially like their larger bags that we kind of worked with them on the color selection. You'll see like BK on the tag.
Yeah, it would say probably like BK Analogue or BK Journey. So we don't have the date punched in for those, but yeah, they're TSL original items. Often has these. But yeah, just, I mean, I can give you a little quick tour of how I patinaed. The paint has held up fairly well. It's incredible. And it really does repel dirt.
Yeah.
You know, I put it everywhere. Mm-hmm. You've seen me put it on the street.
You just like throw it anywhere.
I don't just throw it anywhere, but yes, I do. I know. I'm easy with things that I own. I live with it.
I think it's nice to see that though, because I feel like, I don't know, I especially have a hard time like not babying things, and then like, you know, it's one thing to be really careful with something, but then it's another thing to like just not use it at all,
right.
And not have it be a part of your life because you're afraid you're going to somehow ruin it. So it's nice being able to see you like just kind of take it wherever, and like, you know, if you like, you know, there are like little color stains over here, like I don't know if that's like from kids or, you know.
Probably it looks like paint from the kid, a watercolor paint. I spilled like hot cocoa once that did come off with a little warm That one, warm water with a little padding, it didn't come off. I mean, hot chocolate. And then there's more paint here. And I'm known to kind of experiment with washing my bag.
Yes.
I don't think I tossed this in the washer.
I think you did.
I might have. But I have done a couple times just warm water scrubbing before, and that has worked out for me. I think some people might say, no, I can't. It does tend to, when you do expose leather and brass with water, oxidation happens, right?
Yeah.
So you'd start to see a little bit of like kind of color breaching out from the rivet, and that has happened before. Recently, I tried it with hot water and a little bit of what do you call it? Oxygen powder.
Oxygen powder, and did you say baking soda?
Yeah, a little bit of baking soda.
Yeah, so don't do that. Don't do that. Yeah.
It has stiffened the leather a little bit more than I thought it would.
We're gonna try conditioning it. And see what happens.
We're gonna see. But some of the thing I do want to mention. So the corner of the bag was the first to give in a little bit because of the heavy usage.
Right.
So it had a tiny little hole, and I visited TSL, and they do repair service there on site, and they can add. They were able to basically deconstruct this bag and then add the leather corner.
Okay. So it's nice to know. I mean, I hope that everybody's bag obviously keeps the corner, but it's nice to know the option. Right. That it has, Right, because when you get something like this, you do want it to last a very, very long time. And it's like it's inevitable. Canvas is not as strong as leather, so it's kind of like that is going to be the first part to give. But it's nice to know that TSL really sticks with like a lot of the things that they care about, and that they want you to also be able to like lengthen the life of your products. Yeah, for sure. That's really important. Yeah, and then recently my pocket corner kind of paired a little bit. Oh, no. So of course, having Frito in store now with his sewing training, he was able to just put a little patch here. That's nice. So, but it matches so well with the color. It does, yeah. Total accident. But anyways, I feel like TSL's item always made me feel, because it's a larger product than TN. Right. When it sits like in a corner of the room, it has such a presence. Mm-hmm. And I've always felt this energy that felt really, really good to have it in the corner of the room with me. And, I obviously huge fan of TSL and their craftsmanship and how much they care when they create their items. And it really not only shows, but you feel it. Mm-hmm. And I think that helps me have a closer connection. And, obviously it's just I'm committed to see through it with this bag. Yeah. It makes a difference to know that the people who are making the things that you own really care about them, and they care about your experience with them. Yeah. So I feel like lately I've seen you bring this into work, and I feel like a lot of the times I have seen you use this as your work bag. Is it just your to-go bag right now? Or? Right now, yeah, it has. Just like my TN, it went through so many different phases. It was my work bag for a long time. And I think that's why I started bringing into the Grassel Park store. Mm-hmm. And then customers are like, this was before we started carrying their artifacts. Right. And people are like, where do you get this? You have to carry this. And that's what encouraged me to actually get in touch with Kawaii-san again. Said, hey, now we have a store. Would you like to work with us? So it has been, a lot of time it has been on my work bag. For a while, it was a library bag, because we weren't going anywhere, during the pandemic. Yeah. But I didn't want to just put it away in the storage, so it held our library books in the living room, or kids work, their analog tools of their things. It just works so many ways. Mm-hmm. It's just so sturdy. It's very sturdy, but I feel like it's so interesting to see, because this is nude leather. It does not look like nude leather. I wish I could compare with original nude leather, because it changes so much, Yeah. There gotta be something. Oh, you know what? How about the handle? This is oil. So. Yeah. Let me see. Maybe Kay can bring something that's nude that hasn't seen the sun and Wakako. Yeah. Well, and they have like different kinds of nude too. Like this is going to be a lot thicker of a nude, but like this is kind of closer to what we expect. Like when we open a box from TSL and like a new item is there, this is kind of closer to the color of what it is. And it's like these are still different
This is
leathers.
a travel for life. Actually, this is probably the same leather.
Not as the handles, but like maybe as the pockets. And,
undyed.
Yeah.
But it did start with this color, really it did start with this color.
It's hard to believe.
It is hard to believe. It has gone to the vintage era now. Thank you so much, Kay. Yeah. Anyways, can I just like give a hug?
Yes.
Thank you. So yeah, I don't know. Do you have any questions about this?
You know, I don't know. Like, I feel like I could spend so much time like just looking at this. Like, there's really like a lot of room, a lot of story, and a lot of character to specifically this bag. I remember when you were bringing this in, and I was like early on when I had first started working here. We had some like new ones up on the walls, and I didn't recognize it as the same bag. I didn't know until you were like, "Oh yeah, I have it," and I was like, "Oh, you should bring it in." You're like, "I do. It's right here." Yeah. And I was like, it's just amazing how much it's changed.
Yeah.
But in terms of questions, like maybe we should switch over and find out like if anyone else has any questions for you, because these items do have like a lot of story, but maybe people also have questions about how their own artifacts will age or care for them.
Absolutely.
Once again, oxy powder and baking soda is a no. So.
Don't do that.
Yes, don't do that.
It was an experiment.
Yes, oh, definitely. And that is how you usually
find out. Yeah. Yes.
So, moving into questions, let's see if we have our first one.
This way.
All right. So, you mentioned oiling the TN. If you can, quickly, what do you use and what is the method? Also, if you had to name your favorite TN, what would you name it and why?
Oh. Okay, hold on. The oiling part, maybe. Well, for mine, it was such a long ago. I don't remember the name of the brand of the oil that I'm using. Such a Wakako fashion. But it was meant to be for like leather oil. And that's what I'm seeing being suggested. Use a leather oil, dedicated leather oil. I think you have more experience with it. I'm sure you can share that a little bit later. But I always say I didn't do this, but I always tell everybody, just try in the corner. Right? See how it looks. And then actually really commit to the whole thing. Don't just go right in the middle and start rubbing your oil onto that, which is exactly what I did. And I couldn't go back.
Well, you still love it.
So I still love it. I know.
The important part.
Exactly. And then what do I name my TN? Well, my favorite TN. Well, I mean, let's see. If you had to name my favorite TN, what would you name it and why? I'll call it Rebel.
Rebel?
Yeah. This helps me keep go against the, what's expected and just keep creating my own path. That's how I got started with BK.
Yeah.
So it's my inspiration. So I would call it, it's my Rebel, like my source of inspiration for being a rebel.
I like it.
What do you think?
Yeah, I like it.
Does that fit? Does it feel consistent?
I think it fits. It's consistent with you. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you for asking that question. I love that question.
All right, let's see if we have our next question. It's so cute too.
I know the patch. Oh, yeah. See, I'm like slow with my customization. I'm not going so fast.
Now you are.
Yeah.
Out of all your TNs, which one do you use most frequently? Yeah, that's true. Because I know that you have multiple ones, but I feel like this is the one that I associate most with you. But is it the one you use the most, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, personally, I don't have a lot of TNs.
Right.
I mean, we have a lot of studio samples.
Right.
I have one that's camel that had a stripe on, which I can quickly bring it.
She's like going through the drawer right now.
Don't leave the camera. Yeah, I'm back. This is kind of my personal ones too, and it has got a lot of customization. So I go back and forth between brown and the camel. But this is really my baby, I think, the TN brown. I just don't have a lot of multiple usage for it. So I know some people can, manage multiple TNs and have different, ways using it. That's awesome. I think there's no right or wrong way of using it.
Well, for sure.
Yeah, but for me personally, just because I have so much going on with being parent and the business, I just have one TN that I usually carry personally.
Makes sense for your life because it's easier for you to be able to have something that is in one place rather than trying to go through different things for everything. I say that, but I know that you have multiple planners too. So
I do have notebooks. Just
that's true. Notebooks are different.
Different from TNs.
Yeah, and then let's see. Do we have one more question, or let's see? I forget that this is your.
Yeah, and I had a lot of awesome customization too. Yeah. I remember seeing you using a Travel for Life wallet. How do you use it? Yes, I used to have. I used to love having a wallet functionality in my TN.
Right.
Because then, literally, that's all I like. I have to just grab this and a key, and I'm ready to go.
Right.
I don't have to yet grab another bag or anything. So, Travel for Life wallet fit inside. Here, we actually don't have any in-store sample right at this moment. They're all sold out. But I used to use it as my wallet, and that's how my Travel for Life wallet became really, really handy.
Yeah.
And I added a pop-up color and more a little more textures. So I really, really liked it. And I just took it out because I really wanted to be really slim. Mm-hmm. For change.
Right.
And who knows, I might go back to having it as a wallet, but I'm really happy just having it super, super simple right now.
Yeah, and I mean that's the point, is to be able to be able to change it. And it's nice that the Travel for Life wallets do serve as an insert, so you can take it out if it doesn't serve its purpose anymore. But yeah, and it's something that we don't have them in stock right now, but we do get them in. It's something that I think we will always carry. It's just kind of when we have them, we kind of carry them in batches. But they will be there's always going to be more coming.
They're coming soon.
Maybe.
Maybe. By the end of this year.
Okay. By the end of this year.
Then we have more. Yeah, but I think having a wallet function. But I know that some people use Travel for Life wallet to carry sticker sheets and little analog, little accessories, right? Mm-hmm. Rulers. So really functionality is open-ended and flexible, like you mentioned. Yeah.
Well, maybe because we're kind of talking about this, and I do have a Travel for Life wallet in mind. Maybe, are you okay if I start talking about
I would love to hear your artifacts.
So I'm just going to go ahead and start with my artifacts, and the first thing I am going to talk about is my olive TN, and this is olive. It looks a lot more brown to a lot of people, which
so pretty though.
I really, really love it. This is my first TN. At the time, I did not really realize that olive was going to be as limited as it was, so I just picked it because I like the color, but olive is a lot harder to find these days. But even out of the olive TNs that I've seen, this is kind of one of the darker ones that I've seen. And I didn't realize that it was darker, but
it has a Cordovan kind of look and feel to it.
Kind of, right? Yeah. Where it has a bit of a depth to it. And I do oil this one. Before I go into that, I'll open it up and show you a little bit, since we were just talking about the wallet. So I do have a Travel for Life wallet in here, and I actually do use this as a wallet. So I have some grocery cards and stamp cards and business cards. I keep my cash in here. I have a sketchbook so that I can sketch if I just feel like it while I'm out. And then I have the wallet pocket stitch with our Truly Yours service, and then this is kind of where I keep my cards.
So you have two wallet functionalities, kind of.
I do, yeah. So I like having the two. So this one is kind of my actual purchasing cards, my identification and stuff. And then this is kind of some of the grocery cards that I don't use as often, or I have some of my insurance stuff kind of tucked away back here, just so that I have it here, but it's this is the one that is the most accessible and the one that I go for pretty often. But how you were talking about your TN being everything. Like, for me, this is that. Like, this has been my wallet for...
When did you get it?
I got it 5 years ago, I was counting.
It's been so long.
It's been a while, yeah.
Okay.
And you're so funny. Like, we were talking about this before, and she was like, I can't wait to hear where you got your TN. And I was like, well, Wakako, I got it here. Like,
Tell
I got
me
it
more.
at
I know. Like, what made you like purchase? Like, what made you want to have this in your life?
I had heard about TNs, and I think like just within my circle, more and more people were starting to have them and become interested in them. And I was kind of like on the fence. Like, I wasn't really sure. Like, I liked, like you said, the aspect of being able to like, add different inserts and like, this has been my planner at times. So I do like that it can change functions and things like that. But I was still like, because it is like, if you're used to like buying notebooks from like Staples, like I was, then like, this is an investment. I was kind of like on the fence. And I actually, I bought a different one online.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's when I got confused.
Yeah. I got a different one online. I got a brown one. And then I didn't, that feeling that you were describing earlier where you were saying like, and then I just knew it. I was like really connected to it. I didn't feel that. So I was a little like confused because I had read like, so many people say that they were really connected to it. So I was like, I'm just going to return it. And then sometime later, I came to BK at our old location, and I decided to give it another shot. And I hadn't seen the olive ones. I actually hadn't seen any of the aged ones in person until I came to our store back then. And that day, I was the person that was like in the store forever, just like hovering in front of the TN. So
sitting on the aisle.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I was just like staring at like each unopened package and trying to decide like if I wanted to, if I was going to get it, if I was going to like which one I was going to get.
And I love that. Like, I love the investment that like you and other customers make to actually sit with it, and
It was an important decision for me to make, especially because like I said, there was the question of like practicality and cost that I was very much like on the fence about. Like, I had graduated from college not too long before, so I was still kind of like in a very not financially insecure, but I was like being much more careful.
You were just getting started.
Yeah, exactly. So I was kind of like, do I deserve this? Like, is this really going to be worth it? And it has. I've been really, really glad that I've gotten it. And I have continued to use it in one way or another. Like I said, I used this as my planner at first. And then once I decided I wanted to go with a different planner, so a different planner system, that was when I got the pockets sewn onto it, so that I could start using it as a wallet. Because even though like I wanted to go with a different planner, I wanted to keep using my TN. But I think this was the item that made me, it was like the start of like a different way of purchasing for me, I think, where I wasn't just thinking about like, what was going to be the least expensive option. And I was trying, even before this, I was trying a little bit more actively to buy things that were going to last me. And that was kind of what made me interested in this in the first place. But I think after this, and I was able to like, love it and care for it and spend more time with it, like it became much more important for me to look for items that I felt like, weren't just things in my life, but like actually added to my life and added my enjoyment.
You co-create your sort of everyday.
Yeah, exactly. Because obviously I've had wallets before this that they were still leather, but I didn't feel very much of a connection to it.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? Something just has that so much more than others.
Yeah. And it really is individual, because it's not like I'm saying like, because I bought it from here, it's more important. Like you can get like a leather wallet from Target and it can still be like super important to you, because like I think that the draw that people have to each item is going to be completely individual to them,
unique to each of us.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like I know that there are some people who do get TNs and then they don't feel that connection with it, and I think that that's fine too. Like it just, everyone is so different, like and expecting everyone to have the same reaction to any kind of system, any kind of item, it doesn't.
What would you name your TN?
I feel like it's not original. I think I'm going to just call it Olive, because I think like anything else and I would get like annoyed with myself, like dang it, I shouldn't have called it that. That's stupid.
Olive is nice. It is olive.
I do like olive. But yeah, I got it, and the color of it now reminds me of like used tea leaves. Like when they're like kind of like wet.
That's so wabi-sabi. Yeah, it's so beautiful.
I'll show you guys a little bit closer.
And I love the inside color of olive too. It's so unique.
It's really pretty, and it's kind of like one of the ways that you can really tell that it is olive, because the inside is very, very much olive. But yeah, let me switch to the side camera. So here is my TN. You can kind of see like a lot of depth to it, and because I have oiled it, because some of the TNs that I've seen come fuzzy, like including the olive ones, mine was never really like that. Like I said, it was like kind of dark from the start. But I do condition it. Part of the reason is because my hands are just like naturally very dry. So some of the patina that I wanted to happen wasn't really happening. But you can already see, like, I think I conditioned this maybe 6 or 7 months ago.
Okay.
And it's like, already
just once.
I've conditioned it multiple times,
times.
Maybe like once a year, maybe. Maybe a little less than that, but you can already see like kind of some of the scratches coming back. So I do like that. Like, even after you condition it, it's like, it's not like it's never gonna age. Like you'll still be able to see that depth to it. And then this is kind of like what I was talking about, where it's like here you can definitely see that it is olive. It's not just like a really strange looking brown one. And then my travel for life wallet. And they match
so well with this brown and olive.
Yeah, I really like this color combination. And my sketchbook, which I have here. I usually use this as like kind of like my more on the go sketchbook. So like if I'm waiting in line for something, if I'm like waiting for someone at a store, this is kind of what I am doing with it.
That's what. Is this some of the 20 minutes drawing you do, as I see?
Some of them, yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah. So, and then this is our BK sketchbook, and I've just kind of like decorated the cover a little bit. But yeah, I think, it's interesting. I can't remember exactly what it says, but when you buy a TN, like it has like, some like pamphlet of information that says, it talks about like where it's from, and also like the importance of, this kind of system, and like how much Traveler's Notebook cares about their products. But part of it says like you never know, like this notebook may change your life. And I remember like looking at it like, oh, that's kind of cheesy, but that's cute. And it's strange because it has changed my life, probably in a very dramatic way, because if I hadn't bought this from y'all, I don't think we would have met. And I'm not sure if I would have started working here.
Crazy.
And it's definitely just like changed my way and my relationship to like objects around me and how I relate to them. So I'm really, really grateful
I'm so glad to hear that. It's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like, I like I said, I did really struggle with like, do I deserve having this? But like, it's so important to think about the kind of experience that you're giving yourself in your one life, and to make sure that you are, you're treating that one life with things that you enjoy, and that actually make you happy.
Right.
So
gives you the fuller cup.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so this is
cool. Thank you for sharing that story. I don't think you've ever shared that part.
Oh, really?
No.
That's true because we didn't know each
You
other
know,
that much. Yeah, this was my first like excursion to BK.
So cool.
Yeah. So next up, I am going to talk a little bit about like actually this is probably a much more recent item that I got, and this is another one of our pretty regular carries,
Yeah,
like
classic items we love carrying.
Yeah. So it's like even when they're not in stock, this is something that we do get back in over time.
Yep.
This is the leather bottom engineer pouch in natural, large nude leather. It also comes in like the black. I decided to go with natural just so that if it's like sitting on my desk, it has kind of like a lighter feeling to it. But like anything that I talked about last time when I was talking about like my planners and stuff, this is what I keep it in.
This is your analog pouch. No,
Yes.
that's not. It's not quite. It doesn't justify.
It's
This
like a
is
journal pouch. Yeah.
Yeah. This is a place for your analog.
Yes. And the reason why I decided to keep this and use this is because, well, actually, a couple years back, I had surgery. I think you'll remember. And I had to think in preparation for that surgery, like, how am I going to, be able to reach this or that? Because I knew that I would have like limited mobility while I was healing for 6 months after. And I decided to have, something like this where I had just like a pouch where I kept my journals and stuff. Because before I think I used to like keep them like on shelves, and I knew I wouldn't be able to reach them. So this way I could just have them nearby and I could just like grab it from here. And then I decided even after I healed that I wanted to keep that system. And it's made it a lot easier for me to journal because I do tend to journal just like all over the house, like at the dining table and in bed, like at my desk. So being able to just like grab this and then my pen pouch, I know I have what I need to journal. And then of course, like I have like a bunch of like extra stuff, like my stamps and my tapes and stuff I keep at my desk. And that's if I'm like really wanting to like go deep or do like a lot of decorating. But usually most of the time I just want to do like writing. And it's nice to just be able to grab this and take this wherever.
And it's a good size too. It's big enough, but not.
Yeah. So I tend to keep like 2 A5 notebooks and then the thicker Hobonichi 5-year in A6. So it fits a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been really nice, and I have enjoyed it more than I thought I would because I did get it kind of like for more of like a practical reason.
Was it like 4 years ago?
No, this was like a little over a year. So
a little over a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is So this is nude leather. Here, actually, I'll go and show you in like the smaller camera here. But this is also nude leather. This is this is just a little over a year old, and it's already like
it's already so much darker.
Kay, could I see your wallet again? Just because you've got the nice new natural.
And then Kay's wallet is about a month old, you think?
Yeah. So this I think is the same kind of leather. And you can
look at the transition.
Yeah. And it's funny because like I don't take this out. Actually, this might be like one of the first times I've taken this pouch out.
First outing in BK.
But my apartment has a lot of light, so it's kind of aged anyway. But yeah, it's aged a lot faster than I thought. Probably partially because I don't usually have natural leather items.
So you go for darker color usually.
Yeah, usually I go for like brown or black. So it was really cool to see how fast it did age, and it's gotten like a lot softer over time. But yeah, I really love using this pouch, and it's just super convenient.
Do you clean it?
This I've never cleaned before.
Okay, because it looks so nice.
Maybe because I don't travel with it. Like it's usually just sitting either like at my desk or at a table. Like I think, sometimes like in my like the table next to my bed or something. So it doesn't like go out a whole lot.
Right. Doesn't see all the dirt.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It just feels so nice to like hold it.
Yeah.
Just the right perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect analog weight.
I really like it, and it's just usually if I am taking it, like I'll have it just like under my hand like this. So if I need to like hold cups or something, I can do that, and it's really easy.
That's so cool.
So this one I have not done any kind of conditioning or cleaning. I will probably do it at some point, maybe a couple years down. But as of right now, I haven't needed to. And then I'm actually, before I talk about my next item, I do remember like someone had asked about what I use to condition or oil this with. When I was in Japan, I actually did buy this, which I'm not sure if they sell in their US store,
Maybe.
the online one.
Yeah.
But
for sure in Japanese Travelers Factory store.
For sure.
Yeah.
But actually, you don't necessarily need to buy it from them because, so this is like the little sponge that it comes with, and then this is what it comes with, and this is the conditioner, and it's Renapur, I think it's pronounced. So this is its own company, and you can actually just buy from them, and it'll be like.
Is it an American company or?
Yes, I think it is. So it's not a Japanese company, I don't believe, and you can just buy it from them. I think the nice thing about buying it from Tien is like it does come in this like tiny little container, and it comes with like this sponge. But for me, I just bought it from them because it was convenient at the time. If I was going to buy this again, I would probably go to their website and order it from them. And then that's, like I said, that's what I use to.
Can I see? Can I open the?
Yeah.
Just want to see.
So it's what I use to condition this. You just take like a small amount with a sponge, and then kind of like.
Did you start with the corner?
I did.
Did you test
it? I actually did.
I'm so glad you did.
But yeah, and now I've used it enough that I don't. I know. What
Have you thought about conditioning the nude leather that's inside the pockets?
No, I haven't really.
Be curious to see.
Yeah, I think because maybe the nude leather has, it's doing its own aging. It's doing its own like kind of patina that I feel like I don't necessarily need the conditioning for it. But like I said,
so this is how much you used the first, like one time?
No, I've used this many times. And actually, I think Catherine, my partner, has also used it. So it's kind of like.
I'm like, wow, that's a lot of oil that you went through.
But I don't think it like came like full to the top either. So, but yeah, it's been really nice, and I do like the container for it.
Yeah, it's nice to know the trusted company because it's experiment, right? Like these kind of oils.
Yeah.
Every oil would react a little bit differently, and it's
right. And like Tien will say on their site, like this is vegetable tan leather. So sometimes if you use like stronger conditioners, it can kind of like either I don't want to say stain it, but like kind of like over condition it to the point where, like I said, where you can still see the scratches on this, like even after some time of conditioning, like it will stop kind of like doing that completely. Like it'll just be completely smooth, and it won't really retain that same kind of like patina or character. So it's like that's something that I try to warn if someone ever asks me about conditioning, because it's like, the way that this leather is treated, it is meant to age and change over time. So it's kind of like you are kind of risking losing that if you use a very, very strong conditioner. So that's kind of why I use theirs, because it is a milder one. And then actually for the next item I'm going to talk about, I use an even milder one. But the last item I'm going to talk about is, ta-da, my MAC bag.
It's cute. TSL.
TSL, yes. You can see.
In brown.
Yes, in brown. It's got the little logo here. When I saw this bag, I was like super intrigued because they were doing a lot more of this, like, kind of like with their
molded
boxes, where they were doing like the molded edges and stuff. So it's kind of like, most of the time you see, the bunch of the different like pieces of leather sewn together, but like, this outer part is like one piece right here.
I love the rounded edge, the feeling, the soft corners.
And this one still retained some of its stiffness. I know that with more use, it will become softer, which is really nice. And even when I was comparing to one of our newer ones, like it has aged, it has gotten like a little softer. It's kind of like a shinier chocolate brown color. And I have conditioned this one, and the main reason, and this is like the most 2010 like COVID thing.
2020?
Like, 2020 COVID thing. I spilled hand sanitizer on it, and I was like, It's fine. It's like mostly alcohol. It'll like evaporate, and it didn't.
How
like,
much of like the like puddle?
It was like a big like like a finger length, like right here, like right on top, right on the outside, and I was like pretty bummed out. But I actually did manage to condition it, so like you can't really see it anymore. Like I'll show you in like the closer camera now, but like you can't really see where that was anymore. It's right here, so if you like look closely, you can kind of see like, oh, this is kind of like
where that
where that smudge is. But I have conditioned it, and like something you can see like when you look at it up close, it's got these kind of like stripes, which is just kind of like part of the natural character of the leather, which is actually the reason why I think I chose this specific bag, because I'm usually the one who goes through a lot of the TSL inventory. I'm usually the one who's counting them, and I saw like this specific one, and I was like, oh, it kind of reminds me of like tiger stripes, this specific like texture. So this is the one that
it called you.
Yeah, so like I ended up getting this one, and
this was about a year and a half ago, you think?
Something like that. Yeah. I don't remember exactly the date that I got it, but it was about a year and a half ago, and I conditioned it using like this one. I conditioned more recently, and I conditioned it using like an even more gentle conditioner. So this one is. If you polish shoes, I'm sure you've heard of this one. This is Saphir for the Napa leather. So this is, they're known for their Saphir Renovateur, which is their kind of like baseline, like high quality conditioner. But this one is specifically for Napa. So this is their most gentle one. And when I was doing some tests, and I was doing them in small areas.
It's so smart, Emil.
Something I noticed when I was using, actually even the one that I use on my TN, is that some of the brown seemed like it was either coming off, because it is like dyed, and that's how like
the dye was kind of coming off.
The dye was coming off a little bit, or it was kind of like maybe darkening some of the texture of the leather.
Do you use a rag, like a soft cloth?
Yeah, I was using a soft cloth.
Okay.
And it was still kind of coming off, and I tried like a different conditioner, and it was still doing the same thing. So
you just went with it.
Yeah, exactly. Like I was just trying it and decided like, okay, well, I've tried it and it's coming off, so I'm not gonna keep doing that. And then that was when I got this one, and then this one, like I said, it's really nice. It made this kind of like the spot go away, but when I applied it, like, it always looks a little darker when you first apply it, but this one like barely changed the color at all.
That's amazing.
So it did kind of like soften it. It did kind of look like the leather was like not as dry, but I wouldn't say it like darkened the color. Like it was very much like the same color once I was done with it. Something I did notice when I conditioned was like, because of just use over time, like it had actually developed like a little bit of scratches around the bottom, like where these rounded edges are, and that went away too when I used the conditioner. So that was really nice to use. So if you are looking for a conditioner, especially for your colored leather items, like especially the dark brown, maybe the black as well, I would recommend this. So once again, that's the Saphir Napa leather conditioner, and this is like really high quality, very, very gentle, and still test it on your items, because like maybe the way that they treated this was a little different than how they treated your items, but yeah, it's worked really well for me. And
did you carry like TN?
Yes, so TN like pretty much fits like exactly perfectly in this. I'm sure they did on purpose.
Maybe they designed it in proportion. So, like,
it fits perfectly.
So good.
Yeah,
it's very satisfying.
It's really, really satisfying. Like, I don't know if you can see, but like, it just fits exactly in that. The width is.
And then what did you use this pockets for?
I think I was putting like some pouches of like medication, or if I had like extra cards or something that I needed. I think I put my phone in one and then like my medication in the other. And then, like I said, this was a year and a half ago, so like there still wasn't a whole lot of traveling. Right. So most of where I've used this one has been within LA, but I used it a lot when I was going to like swing dancing venues. So I was doing like weekly swing dancing, and this is what I would bring with me. And
essentials.
Yes, pretty much. Where it was like, I really liked that it limited how I decided what I was going to bring with me, because it was so small, because it's so like well constructed.
It's so handsome.
It's very handsome.
Yeah.
It's a very, very handsome bag. And it was really, really convenient. But I actually have not been using it as much. And the reason is because maybe half a year or so ago, like, some of my medications changed, so my needs changed. So I started carrying around more medications with me on the go, including to when I went swing dancing and I had like my inhaler and stuff. And it didn't fit in this bag anymore. And I found that if I wanted to not carry those things, I would usually just bring my TN. So it made me really sad because I wasn't really using this bag anymore, even though I really, really loved it. But it just didn't serve my purposes anymore, which happens. And I think like it happens over time. Like even if it's something that you really enjoyed using, like I enjoyed using this one, it just like it stopped serving its purpose for me as much. And we were actually having a discussion about that, and just how I was saying, I felt sad that I wasn't using it anymore, and that it was just kind of like sitting there, but I knew that it didn't really serve me anymore. Right. And that was kind of when we started talking about like an experiment that you decided you wanted to try in store. So it's going to be called the Journey Program.
Journey Program. Yeah. Before we talk about Journey Program, do you want to answer a couple questions about maybe some of the
let's go ahead and do that.
I want to make sure we catch those before. Yeah.
It's cliffhanger.
I know. Dun, dun, dun.
Wakako and Emil, are you team charms or no charms on your TN? I'm team no charm.
No charm.
No charm.
Really?
Yeah. Like I have a charm on the end, like of my. I have like the little coffee bean that they sell at TN.
Oh, that's cute.
At the end of the bookmark, but I don't like having the charms here because they scratch. And I also don't like the way it feels when I have it like in my bag and then there's like a slight bump here. But how about you?
I rotate. Well, actually, I lied. I don't, because these charms been here for over a year. That doesn't count as rotating, does it? I like charms personally. I think it's such a way to add more meaning to TN. So I would say I'm more team charm team.
Charm team.
Yeah. I can't have too many because it's then it makes it heavier or a little more too much to hassle with. But it's really cute. So our kids started to notice I like charms, so they started to giving me charms for like holiday, like a special gift. So I have this tiny little charm that Coco gave me, which had chickens in it.
Chickens?
Because we have chickens in our house and we love them. So somehow she managed to find the chicken charms.
That's so fun.
Over the time it broke a little bit and it's missing a piece, but it's just a nice reminder, and it connects with me to my girls. And I have a fragile charm because it's it's a fragile. Not that TN is fragile, but it's more of like a meaning it holds is very personal and fragile. So so I do like charms.
Yeah. And the thing is, I like charms too, just not specifically on the TN. Like I said, I put it on here because it's not going to scratch against the leather. But for TNs, no charms for me.
No rules.
No rules. But yeah, let's see if we have like another question. Does the pouch stand up on its own or flop over? It actually does stand up on its own. Let's see if you can see it. Yeah. Like right now, I think it just kind of depends on what you have inside of it. So right now, because I have a couple of notebooks like standing up inside, like it does.
And you have a thick notebook.
I have a thick notebook, so like it tends to hold it straight pretty well. I think when it's empty, it also can stand up on its own because like the leather is pretty sturdy, so you can kind of like shape it to stand. But it might be different, like if you only had like, I'm trying to decide like what.
If you only had one notebook or one TN, it's not going to probably stand.
Yeah, it would probably flop over. So it just depends on what you have in there. But when I have it like on my desk and stuff, it's always standing up. It's never been a problem for me. But that's a good question. I feel like that does.
It's a really good functional question.
Yeah. I think I think that the paint bottom pouches also stand, but not as much.
Yeah, because the leather kind of has more of the sturdier.
Yeah, it has like more of the weight on the bottom, so it's going to be able to like hold up a little bit. But I think once again, I've seen my partner use their paint bottom pouch, and I've seen it's standing up on its own.
Yeah.
So I think it just depends on what you have inside too. Yeah, it was a good question. Let's see if there's one more. Does the TN fit vertically in the mat bag? Oh, that's fine.
I'd try that.
Well, what's your answer before I try it?
Try it. Yes.
Right, so
here, can I help you holding the book, please?
Yeah. So vertically.
Yeah.
So it kind of does stick out a little bit, but I think if you were, so you can't quite close it. So it fits if you don't care about it like closing. Like I would say like this still looks pretty normal, but if you are asking like if it's actually going to clasp shut, no, it's not going to close. So having it horizontally is probably the way to go, which is too bad. Like if you had like a passport, it would definitely fit.
It was like an inch taller. It would have made.
Yeah,
but they do have a different proportion one that is similar to this design.
That's true, they do. And I feel like if it was like an inch taller, the proportions would not be as cute.
Agree.
So it's just kind of like that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's I think that is the last question.
Yeah.
So kind of going back to what we were talking about, especially now that I have this out.
Yes.
Talking about the Journey program, we were specifically talking about how to extend the life of a product, like even beyond ourselves. And like this was your idea. Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah. So this is a program. It's not a service really per se, but it's a BK original program that we are planning to start sharing maybe next month, hopefully. And it is meant to support our community and support actually the artifacts that we share to have even a longer journey along its way. And I think we've been in BK for almost 12 years? No. Yeah, 12 years we've been doing BK. And obviously we've shared so many artifacts. And one thing I have noticed is that even with the best intention of our customers who purchase artifacts from us, lifestyle circumstance changes or the needs change, right? It's just like exactly your journey, your map case. You purchase something with full intention, and a year later your medication changed, and it's like, then you have to kind of change your case or carrying devices. So, I've seen that happen pretty frequently with our community and customers, myself included. It just happens. So we wanted to create a program that accommodates that kind of evolving change that we all have, and be a facilitator so that the artifacts that we do share can continue its journey instead of like this mat case. It could have easily sat in your closet.
It's true, and it did for a while.
It did in a while.
We had this conversation.
But I feel like it being its own life, I feel like it deserves to continue its journey. And we wanted to create a program that kind of best facilitate that process.
Right.
So what in a really quick nutshell is, so it's a called Journey program, and that we as a BK for our in-store customers we'll have a special day each month to be able to accept some of the artifacts that you as a customer might have purchased from us. And we will, kind of figure it out. We will find a way to compensate for the products that are coming back to us, and we'll facilitate for the item that is coming back to find its new home. Yeah. In the most meaningful way.
Right. So pretty much we would be buying back for probably part of the
partial refund.
So like, and this is specifically for items that you bought at BK, so that we can really be able to gauge the value of like what we are receiving and how to compensate for it. And then we are going to be reselling it at a lower cost than if they were buying it new. And then what we want to do is kind of include with that product the story of the product, so that you
of itself.
Exactly. Like of this specific bag, so who had it before, where it's been, like what what kind of life it's had, so that when it goes to the next person, it's not just like, another new product. Like, hopefully it can continue to like go to the next person and have like a new life and continue that story. Just so that, like, like you said, this is an animal with its own story, and we want to be able to respect it as much as possible. So I would much rather see this used. As much as I like this bag, I would much rather see it used.
See the light, continue that adventure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this is kind of going to be the inaugural item. I am going to be letting this one go as part of the program in hopes of finding a new home. Like we said, this is going to be an in-store program because we have to be able to physically see the items so that we can know, like, how much of a life it's going to have. Like, we want to make sure that this is going to be an item that does continue to have a long life. So we're specifically looking at like leather items.
To start leather items only. So like Traveler's Notebook, some of the TSL products, Rotofather maybe even. Canvas is a little hard to get started because we just don't know how.
Because like you said, like, you had to repair the bottom of your engineer shoulder bag, and it's like, that item is especially repairable, but not all items are. So we want to make sure, like, whoever we are passing it to, we are saying like, this is going to have a longer life ahead of it. For the sake of the product, and for the sake of like trust within the community, but also just like knowing that we have this like close-knit community of people that do think about items in the same way, and who care about the kind of items that are entering their life. We thought that it would be a really nice way to
close the circle in some way.
Exactly. But you said probably starting September. Yes.
And we will have a designated drop-off day where we will invite you, in-store customers, to bring artifacts that you might have outgrown, or it's outgrown itself, vice versa, right? And we'll have a way to help a customer fill a special little card that will go with your item. And it's in-store only. Yes, we want to be able to access it too, but also for the next person who will take this home, I feel like the connection that person is going to have with a physicalness of it is so important. Like, we often, we have our samples out for like TN. They're like, oh my goodness, this just feels like it's like I feel so gravitated to this sample. And it, I think, happens because it's a real tangible exchange of experience.
Right. It's a connection.
It's a connection with the thing and an artifact. So we're hoping to really enhance that experience.
But it makes me excited, like, the idea that the bag that I did, like, and I still do, I still love this bag so much, but the idea that a bag that I have that I love is gonna like be able to find like a new home, and then kind of continue its life and possibly be loved by another person. It makes me really happy. But I'm excited for that.
Is there any I think maybe just 2 or 3, but if there's any questions about Journey program,
and then just to clarify too, because this is more of like an experimental program, and it's something we are doing more for the community, and like, the space that we have in our store is limited. We can't accept all products, so we are kind of like that's part of the reason why we're putting like kind of like a limitation on it being in store. But we'd love to see the items that you bring in and be able to like think like, oh, are we going to be the right person to find a new home for this? Because obviously there's other ways to and I'm always doing that, like talking within my friend group and finding out like how everyone feels about certain items and what I can pass on. But
this is hopefully just one outlet.
Exactly. But any questions about this program?
Well, I think more as we get closer to probably second half of next month, I'm going to create a little story about it that, just kind of gives more details about what you can expect if you are to bring an item back to us. So it's very clear. It will be written down, hopefully less confusing. And this is a little bit of like what's coming.
Kind of like, this will be kind of like our first community like event in a while, because we used to do a lot more events, as some of you know. So it'll be nice to bring that back. As long as everything stays positive.
It's going to.
Yes.
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 Yeah.
But I think that is it for today.
Well,
so.
Thank you so much for joining us. And then I will go through all the comments after we close the broadcast, and it will come through. And if there are any questions and comments that we obviously couldn't address this time, we'll either bring it up to the next topic, future YouTube, or we can get back to you directly. So I just want to say thank you, Emil. Oh my goodness, what a partner.
But thank you all for joining us today. I know it's your Sunday morning, so we really appreciate you spending time with us. So until next time. And
if you're local, stop by. 12 to 5, we'll be here.
Yes, we'll be here 12 to 5.
We can continue the discussion.
Yes. But until then, I hope you guys keep enjoying writing, and we'll see you next time.
Sounds good.
All right. Bye.
Bye.